your name. I don't care what these people gon' do, what these people gon' say, what these people gon' bang. We out here making disciples. We in the world, but we can't be the same. Okay. So I went for my hand on the Bible, speaking the truth.
And welcome back to Believe Ball Become. Sorry, I did it the wrong time.
It's okay. It's perfect.
We're gonna do this again. We're gonna reset on the. We're gonna reset.
Just go. Just leave it. Just go. Just leave it. I already spit water all over me. Just leave it. Let's go. We ain't got time to restart.
Oh god. Believe Ball Become. We're starting at 10:04 p.m. because we just want to get some content out. We got a lot to talk about. We've gotten 2 seasons underway. Junior high is about halfway through, and high school is about 9% through. So we're getting started. We're getting through it. We're getting going.
It is Monday, December 8th. I don't know if you said that, did you?
No, I just said what time it was.
Yeah,
so.
Monday, December 8th, we'll be getting this out. So.
Oh, that's when we're recording this. No time.
Yeah. My bad.
I apologize.
No. He's gonna get it out tonight.
So, we still have another one I gotta edit and get out. So we'll get there. So far, our seasons. We're gonna start with the high school. They just got kicked off. They had a good win at Chester. All 3 clubs, freshmen, JV, varsity coming out, getting big wins against Chester. Those are always tough games coming out. You don't know what to expect, but it was good to see us come out and get a couple big wins. How was that night for you guys?
Good. We had some players go down, which was obviously not good to see. But in terms of the team and the performance, some guys stepped up. A lot of guys got to play. A lot of guys got chances to get in and show what they can do. And I just feel like, as a coach, there's a lot of things you expect to see on the the first night, but you really don't know what you're gonna see. And it was a good way to kick off the season. Obviously, getting a win, but also getting an idea of what the rest of the year is going to look like. And I don't know. Did you watch the 3 games? I don't remember if you said you did. Or
I watched the varsity game. I didn't get to watch the JV or freshman game.
Yeah. So, no, but that was a good way to start the season. Do you want to talk? You want me to talk about the AJ season first, then we'll talk about junior high?
Yeah, go through kind of how the Goreville tournament. Like he said, losing an Aiden McFadden, 3-year starter now, something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody with that much experience, arguably best player, definitely, main point guard, focal point, the guy who calms everybody else down. Missing that makes everything else hard. But AJ put on a lot better performance at the Goreville tournament than the record shows. They had a lead in every single game, and almost had a lead in every single fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And so that just comes to show you that if you have that that leader, that person who calms everything down, he would have definitely got you at least a couple of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think we're 5 games in now, 2 and 3. We beat Chester and we beat Hardin County. And like you said, we had a lead going into, I think it was the 3rd quarter for sure, maybe the 4th quarter of every game, and that stings for sure at the high school level. But losing a guy like that, you're trying to figure a lot of things out. The coaches are trying to figure out rotations. The players are trying to figure out other guys' tendencies and, trying to figure out new positions. And now we're playing younger guys that maybe don't know all of our sets perfectly. And sometimes it's on them, sometimes it's not, because the season's just started. So I think the Goreville tournament for us this year was really, really good because it gave us a chance to play a lot of guys and get an idea of where we're at. And it always does that for us, junior high and high school, for sure. So you wish for a different outcome, but we'll see where we are here coming up. I think we played Nashville on Friday, and then we play Cobden on Saturday. So that's exciting. I like where we're at for sure. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see more JV games. Tonight our freshmen played Vienna. Didn't go as good. I didn't get to see the first half because we were at the junior high game, but in the 3rd and 4th quarter, they kind of turned it around and scored a couple more buckets. And you see flashes of what they can become, and I think Coach Adams in the locker room said it. They're young. Coach Staples said it too. They're playing together for the first, couple times. New coaches, new systems. So there's a really bright future at AJ. There's a lot of good talent, and there's a lot of possibilities, I feel like. And so we're really excited up there. We're excited to have a week of practice ahead of us now to kind of talk about some things. And the guys actually took a day today and went in the weight room. Got some weight room work in, which is always good, especially after a long week. So that was good to see. So, yeah, that's where we're at the high school season. And like I said, today is the 8th of December. So
I do have to say, like, obviously we want Aiden back healthy, 100%. That's he's a stud at everything. Southern Illinois golfer of the year or whatever. Southern Illinois golfer of the year.
did I shut them
whatever.
both off?
This one's you. You hit. I thought you hit mine.
No, okay. No, I hit mine for sure.
Okay. Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois golfer of the year, whatever. He's somebody that you need around, but with those kind of injuries, it's almost a blessing in disguise because a lot of other people get to grow and get to show what they can do, and get to make some mistakes. Where if Aiden's there, they make that first mistake and they're getting pulled. Well, now with no Aiden, they get to make that first mistake and the second mistake, and then by the third time, it's like, all right, now we're gonna have to figure something out. But like I said, we want Aiden back and being healthy, but Goreville tournament's always a time where you kind of figure out who's going to show up, who's ready for varsity this year, who knows the stuff, who's going to, who's ready, who's going to show up and show what they've got and really take advantage of the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I agree. I don't really have anything else. Wish we could have gotten the gym today, but we didn't. They just lifted. So I think Coach wants to go over some defensive stuff tomorrow. Just habits, We've been talking a lot about habits in practice. Coach Crane does a really good job of talking about habits, and so I know that the last 2 Mondays we talked about it, and he was going to talk about it again today. So I think it's just building habits as a team and even as individuals, everybody being on the same page, and that's kind of our goal for this week. And then we'll go play a tough conference game against Nashville, which will be a good, another good way to see where we're at and really test, who's ready, because Nashville's Nashville. You know what I mean? So I remember being, and we'll get to. I guess we'll just cycle into the junior high season now, unless you have anything else to say about the high school season. Really,
no. There's a bright future, and you guys will keep growing. Like you said, beginning of the season, Goreville tournament's always a test. If you happen to go 4-1 or whatever, 3-1, however many games it is now, it's awesome. But there's a lot of times you go there and have a tough time just because beginning of the season, you got a bunch of new guys. So a couple tough injuries, losing 2 point guards going into that is always tough.
Sure.
So what they showed, and I got to watch most of every game, what they showed was that there is enough talent there to play with anybody in Southern Illinois right now. So I'm excited. Moving on from AJ, that was really exciting to talk about. We got Jonesboro.
The reason I wanted to move on and the reason it sparked my interest was because I remember whenever a lot of these sophomores that are about to play in their first, real Nashville varsity game on Friday, I remember whenever they were 8th graders and we would talk to them about playing the teams that we play now and like how, some teams we play, they whoop us. Other teams we play, we whoop them. And so we do have those in-between games. But I remember when those kids were young and even the freshmen there, even, the seniors through freshmen, because I think, my first year coaching, it was Aiden's 8th grade year. So everybody there at the high school, I've coached and been around for the last 4 years, and we constantly talk about playing those bigger teams and how it's not the same as, playing the smaller little Class S teams that you play in junior high all the time. And so that's what sparked my interest, maybe thought about the junior high level. So we'll talk about the junior high level now. But what are we right now? I think we're on a 3-game win streak for sure. What are we? We talked about this last Monday.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
We were 4-8, I think. We may be 5-8 or 6-8 now. We are on a 3-game win streak, though. Just had our first conference game tonight. Snuck one out. Real close game. against Anna at Shawnee. So we will play Wednesday against Century on the winner's side of the conference tournament. Century's pretty good this year. They've got a couple kids that have been playing for a long time. That's always pretty good whenever you've got kids with experience that have grown and gotten stronger. So they beat us pretty bad the first game of the year. Was it? It was at Jonesboro, wasn't it?
Yeah, very first game of the year at Jonesboro, and they had played a couple games already. And they came in and whooped us pretty good. They've got some good size, but I'm pretty sure we're like 6-8, something like that.
That's what I thought it was.
And so, turning that record around, getting up to 500, it's gonna be a tough matchup. They're the 1 seed for a reason. Crane's been playing for 7 years already. But we're not.
I think
scared.
I played him in junior high.
It seems like it. I've been coaching for 10
he's so
years.
Good.
But
he's so good. And like, as a coach and as a competitor, you just want him to graduate. You know what I mean? But at the same time, whenever you get to watch him and he's playing somebody else and he's not whooping you, it's like, wow, he's so good. Not just from a skill perspective, but from how he makes his team better. And I remember whenever he was young, my first couple years, like my first year coaching, he was a 5th grader, and I remember thinking, like, dang, that kid's going to score 3,000 points in junior high. And, like, obviously that's a little unrealistic to think about, but he just scored 1,000, and I feel like he could have 15,000, almost 2,000, or 15,000, 1,500, almost 2,000 if he wanted, but he's so unselfish. He's done such a good job the last 2 years of – he played with the Sampson kid last year that's now a freshman starting varsity at the high school, and then now he plays with another kid, is his last name Fursell maybe? Yeah, Fursell. He's grown, and he's pretty good, and instead of Crane, taking all the shots, he does a great job getting those guys involved. And so, not playing them, I like watching him, Walker, some of those other guys, but playing them, it always sucks because he's tough to keep up with. He's grown into his 8th grade body. I mean, he's not 6 foot, but he's probably like 5'8", right? 5'7", maybe.
Yeah, he used to be 5 foot nothing, just a little itty bitty guy, and now he's 5'7", 5'6", 7', 8", something like that.
Yeah.
But no, they're a solid team. They got the 1 seed for a reason, but we are happy to be on the winner's side of the bracket. And if we don't beat them, we're not afraid of anybody else as well. So we're looking to get a 1st or a 3rd at the very worst. We want to finish the week with a win.
Yeah. I think the beginning of the year, you can't sit and they are a good team, but you can't compare that first game to now. We can't go in thinking, well, they beat us bad the first time and it was at our place, so this isn't going to be good. Like, no, we have size. We have, stuff that will work. It really it's a matter of being on the same page and being able to do it for an entire game. And they're going to make shots for sure. But if we can contain them, me and Ben were talking about it before we even started this podcast with Coach Mike. It's one of our biggest things right now is making sure that our coaching staff does a good job of explaining to our kids, even quarter by quarter, like what we're trying to do. What's the main point of emphasis right now? Do we need to get to the rim? Do we need to put pressure on them, so they foul us? Do we need to back it out and slow our offense down? Are we trying to kick it out and hit shots? Like, instead of just, they're in a zone, let's run this. They're in man, let's run this. And so I think if we do that, and we can do that for 4 quarters against Century, or really against anybody, we have a good chance. We have the talent. We have the, the camaraderie, the chemistry. We can definitely do it for sure. So, but if not, what's the other? Vienna and Shawnee played. Do we know who won that one?
I'm assuming Vienna won. That game.
I assume they would too, but I'll look and see. Was there one more game after us or 2?
There would be 2.
Okay, so
there
you can.
Would have been. Egyptian.
Every time I open up my Facebook, the very first, and maybe 2nd or 3rd or 4th, or my entire feed is Chris Dexter. So shout out Chris Dexter. We need you on the pod.
It would have been Egyptian versus.
There we go.
Who's the other team in the conference?
Century beat Meridian.
Cobden. Egyptian.
Egyptian beat Cobden. does not say Shawnee and Vienna, but I assume that Vienna beat Shawnee.
Egyptian and Vienna, who both beat us this year. Century, who beat us this year. So we're happy to be on the winner side of the bracket. We're not afraid of any of those teams. We gave them all a run for their money at some point.
For sure.
But just going off of, we're getting in the conference tournament, getting in the semifinals. We are quite excited about how everything's going.
There's a 99-16 score in the junior high book tonight.
Yeah, we don't want to talk. I'm just going to leave. I will say that West Frankfort team is one of the best teams I've seen in a little while, and they've been solid all year. So
shout out our guy Weeks.
Yeah.
He started a lot of that.
Yeah, he set that up. My boy, assistant coach and ex/halfway teammate at college. He's a real good guy. Helped set that program.
Good coach too.
Up in a positive way. So I like what they're doing. I have a lot of respect for West Frankfort after living there basically for 2 years. Jonesboro, we're excited about this year. We're growing. We're getting better. We have a lot of season left still, but get through December. I mean, shoot, after conference tournament, we got 3 games in December, and then we get into January, and it's time for regionals.
Yeah.
So basically a month and a half left because of Christmas break. So we're excited. We're growing. Like he said, we have all the skill and talent and size that we need. We just got to keep putting it together and keep learning and playing together and bringing the energy and intensity.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is having fun and holding them accountable, and we're definitely doing that. So they listen and they learn, but at the same time we have a lot of fun. One of our kids had a birthday the other day and had a speaker, and coach shows up to practice and they've got the speaker outside and they're having a dance party, and so I think those kids get along and enjoy each other and enjoy us as coaches, and we enjoy them. So that's a big part of junior high, is if you can make them enjoy being around the game. That's a great way to build culture for sure, and then holding them accountable. So
yeah, I like having all the coaches as well. You know, we get a lot of the.
We talked about that a second ago.
How many college coaches do you got?
Yeah.
But you guys got a whole college coaching staff, NBA coaching staff.
We only got one.
Well, there's 4 of us, but you never know. If we might just be one at practice one day, and then the next day it's all 4, and the next day it's 3, and the next day it's 2. It's kind of why we need
off
it.
topic, but Coach Adams at the high school said the other day I think he was talking about Benton, saying they would want to play a pickup game next year at Goreville against coaching staffs, and Scooter was like, well, I don't know anybody that can guard me, but if nobody can guard me, they're definitely not guarding Blake. And so he's like, I'd take us against anyone, and I feel that way with the junior high coaching staffs too.
Dude, anybody else smoking.
Yeah, any coaching staff, we got it. But he was talking about fits earlier, we try to wear the same fits, but everybody shows up in a different style, and we kind of dig that. So, we enjoy the junior high kids, and they enjoy us, and they like to make fun of us, and we're young enough to get along with them and understand what they're saying, but old enough that they do make jokes about us and stuff like that. So, it's been enjoyable so far, and we're excited for the rest of the season. Not excited for Christmas break, but excited for the rest of the season. So.
Yep. All right. We're what this podcast is really about is we want to kind of talk about what young athletes need to know about, kind of the mindset, what a great athletes kind of think about, and kind of a couple topics like that. So this is something that we both really believe in, something we, kind of try and focus on is, we want them to not just be good basketball players, but be good athletes, good humans, good young men. And we just want to keep helping them grow in their mindset and how they do everything in life. So, what are habits of great athletes?
We won't be able to touch on everything, but I think a lot of habits is. It's one thing when you're talking about basketball players, because there is certain habits of good basketball players. When you're talking about the actual game, but in terms of athletes, it's something I didn't understand more until after I got out of school. When I was in school, I was the kid that would stay up or would, not be a good student, just worry about the game instead. But I think some of the 2 better habits are, being a student first and actually having good grades. And so usually when you have good grades and you can pay attention to that kind of stuff, it leads to paying attention more in practice and in the game, and being able to obtain information and relay it to other people, and also execute it throughout the entire game, and not just the first quarter, or not just one quarter, or not at all. So definitely being a student before the athlete, and also being a student of the game whenever it comes to being, a player and actually learning. But the second one I was going to say, and the reason that this one, like I said, we're not going to touch on everything, but the reason this pops up in my head more than any other one is because I used to stay up playing video games all the time, and I feel like I was one of the better athletes around here, and I would, play Fortnite till 2 a.m. my sophomore year before El Dorado Holiday Tournament. And so it's like, if there was any habit that I could go back and change, it would be sleeping better for sure. And I've done a good job about that as I've gotten older. Obviously, I've had to, with how much I am in basketball shoes and playing a lot. But that's where I would start. That's at least my first one. There's hundreds you could rattle off, but pay attention. Coach Cham always says, show up, shut up, keep up. So if you can show up and to everything, and you can, not be talking, be paying attention and listening, and you can keep up with everything that's going on, you're probably a good student of the game.
And whenever you started talking about that, it made me think of Coach Herron at Old Morton College. He used to always tell the story about the legendary coach John Woodson. I hope I said that name right. Won all the titles with UCLA. The first thing he would do every single year was teach his boys how to tie their shoes. Why? Because the smallest little details matter. Like, if you don't have your shoes tied, how are you supposed to come out here and be a great athlete?
Junior high kids need that.
It's like, there's so many kids that don't know how to tie their shoes. It's like, it's the little details. Yep. Make your bed, brush your teeth, take a shower, put on deodorant.
Yep.
Make sure you have all the stuff in your bag. Do all the little stuff to make sure you're prepared. Not even just, eating right, sleeping right, like all the little stuff. Tell your mom and dad thank you. Like he said, be a good student. Make sure you got all your homework done. Respect your parents, respect your teachers, respect your elders. Like, it's all those little things before the game starts. The mindset of not being selfish,
yep.
being humble, being thankful. That's the real thing that I feel like if kids were more like hungry and wanted stuff a little bit more, instead of just, when I say by wanting stuff, I don't mean, I want pizza. I want a horse. I want a pony. I want, a Nerf gun, like whatever. Like, I'm not talking about
wanting to work
that.
For something.
Exactly. Like, kids don't understand that you have to earn everything.
Yeah.
Like, you have to earn it. And so make them earn it.
Too many kids are obsessed with aura, and I did that too some in school, but it wasn't aura back then. But it's like, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to push yourself to that part of not being, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to dive for that loose ball. You have to do all the things that you need to do in order to get what you want. And I feel like that's what he's trying to portray. So that for sure, I agree. Forgot there was something else I was going to say in there. Oh, one little detail. Coach Cham makes everybody tuck their jerseys in at practice, and I love that. I never thought about that, but I love that because it's like, you got to tuck your jersey in for the game. Why would we let you untuck it during practice? And that's also why coaches have practice jerseys and practice gear and stuff like that. So I think that also plays into what you were saying.
Yep. And
we're doing great on time. I'm just saying. We're killing it.
What I was going to say, I just forgot it. That's what I'm going to say for last.
Okay. This guy.
Move on. It kind of goes into the next one, but I had a little quote I was going to say.
Well, are we talking about the mindset of athletes now?
Yeah.
I think that's always, not to toot my own horn, but been one of my better attributes, or my better characteristics in sports. Even now, because I still play basketball a lot, but especially in high school, I always just had a next play mindset. Like, I definitely was a kid and would get upset for missing shots and whatnot, just because you don't want to miss shots. You want to play good for sure. But I was never the one that let it snowball or lead to playing bad the rest of the game. Not to say I didn't have bad games, but I think that your mind and your mindset can definitely be a strong suit and can be what helps you excel over some players that are maybe more skilled than you, or excel over some players that are maybe more athletic than you. So I feel like I've always done a good job of believing that I was going to play better, I was going to shoot better, I was going to do better in not just the game, but in life. I still have that mindset right now. And so I think that your mindset always has to be super optimistic. Optimistic's the best word for it. I don't think there's a better, way to put it.
Yeah, and I remember what I was going to say. If you want to be special, you can't be normal. So, like, everybody else is going to the party.
Yep.
Well, you want to be different? Like, you want to be special? You got to be different. You can't be normal. I definitely was one of those kids who left some potential on the table because I wanted to be normal. You know, I'd been a church kid my whole life, and I wanted to be like everybody else. So I started going to parties and doing different stuff like that instead of just locking in and, getting good grades and focusing on school.
Oh, yeah.
And, taking basketball more seriously and working out and eating right and sleeping right. Like, I didn't do any of that. I was kind of,
I'm with you.
I wanted to be a kid, and, I didn't really think about a future, and why I was doing all of that.
It's not necessarily that you don't think about a future, because you do think about the future all the time as a kid, but you don't think that what you're doing will ever end. You just don't. You just think that, well, I've been playing sports for my whole life, so this is how it's always going to be. And then bam, it's over one day, and it's like, oh, holy cow, So yeah, it's true. Like, it's very true what he said.
But if you wanna be great, like I said, you have to be different. Mm-hmm. You have to want it and be special and you have to fall in love with the work, like
the process.
With the process, it's not the results that you gotta love. You gotta love everything else outside of that.
Yeah.
If you want to be great.
Yep.
That's why LeBron still is playing at 40 whatever years old. That's why Tom Brady played till he's almost 50. It's like they love the process.
Yeah.
If you don't love the process, just like we've talked about before with, AJ high school athletes going to college, most of them don't make it past 2 or 3 years because there's a whole nother process once you get to college and then a whole nother process once you get to pros.
It's never emphasized to go because you love the game. It's emphasized to, go because it'd be great, go to college. You could go to college. My kid goes to college. Like, that's not even the point. It's like your kids should absolutely love what they do, just like they should love if they, go be a vet or they go, do whatever. You're working at a pizza place. You're working for, a construction company. Whatever it is that you do.
Accountant, whatever. Like, if you're going to go to school for something, do it for something you love and you can do well.
Not just to say you went to college.
Yes, it's not worth it. And going to college to play sports, just to play that sport, it's not just hanging out with your buddies anymore. Yeah. Like, if you're on scholarship, you're getting paid to be there. So get ready to be treated like you're paid to be there.
You gotta love the process for sure.
Yeah. And it's not always terrible. Like, there's a lot of people who have a really good time. I enjoyed my time, but, it's going to come to an end, whether you like it or not, at some point. Even if you make it through the 4 years of college, like, how many pro athletes do you know? I mean, I can think of 2 that played, single, triple A baseball type stuff, but, like, one football player from Nashville who played in the NFL, like, outside of that, like, a few D1 athletes from Southern Illinois, stuff like that, but pro athlete is basically out of the question unless you're just
a ton of people who have rubbed elbows with people who have rubbed elbows, you know what I mean? Like, ton of people who have been around and met people, but it's never, it's never the guy that actually made it that's from AJ. So, and not that matters, but it is a big reason that everybody's so obsessed with just the title of it or just the idea of it instead of, like, the idea of actually just liking the game and wanting to do it and, like, wanting to, love your role or love what you do well. And, some people just always are too greedy,
And making it is your mindset. Like, whatever making it is different for everybody.
For sure.
So, for me personally, getting to play college basketball at all was making it. Mm-hmm. Getting to win an NIT was making it. Like, I never got to win any kind of basketball tournament outside of 3v3 tournaments at Christian camp, So, I feel like I got to make it. Even though, I tell people, where'd you play? Morton College. Where's that? Well, it's actually shut down now. So it's like, I don't even get to, brag about it. You can't go show anybody, but I got to do what I love, and I got to,
And build relationships and
Oh,
connections.
yeah, and the relationships, connections.
Stories.
Getting to play for a legend like Coach Rich Herron's just something I'll never stop talking about. So keep that positive mindset, Don't hate on yourself so much. Challenge yourself. I'm not saying make sure if something's your fault, be accountable. I think that's another mindset thing is be accountable without, beating yourself up about it. Yeah. There's a good balance that young athletes have to find because, there's some of our kids beat themselves up so much that they take themselves out of the game.
It snowballs, yeah.
And then, we have others that make 5 mistakes and don't even realize they made any mistakes because they're just oblivious.
Enjoying it. Yep, they're just having fun. Don't let a snowball turn into an avalanche. You can't make a mistake and then get upset and make another mistake, get upset, make another mistake. That's what I started this whole thing off with. Is I feel like that was my best attribute was having that next play mindset. So you can't let it spiral. Even as a coach, as a team, like at some, you got to light into your players some, but at some point you got to realize like, oh crap, like. Unless you're getting blown out 99-16, at some point you got to start to learn from it. And I think that I've been in that position plenty of times as a player and a coach where you just got to flip the switch and be like, okay, I need to traffic.
Nightmare.
Yeah. We thought we were getting a truck. But you just got to flip that switch and learn something. So we could talk about that forever. And like I said to start, we're not going to be able to hit everything, but something that we did want to talk about is, and it's kind of a funny topic. It can be serious, it can be funny, but really just things that junior high coaches don't realize about high school kids and high school coaches, and vice versa for high school kids and junior high coaches. Because when you coach a junior high team, there's a lot of things that high school kids can do that you don't realize because you coach a junior high team, but then as a high school coach, there's a lot of things that you don't realize junior high kids can't do until you get there, and then you're like, oh, my goodness, this is crazy. So it can be a serious topic, but I think it's more funny, and we won't be able to touch on everything. But my first thing is the one thing I talk about all the time is, like, you can't just tell them, like, back screen, pick and roll. Like, unless you've practiced that specifically or those kids are that advanced, like, for the most part when it comes to junior high kids, most of our full timeouts are spent talking about a singular play. It's not, 15 seconds what we did good, 15 seconds what we did bad, 15 seconds what we can do better. Okay, get a drink, let's go. Like, we spend an entire minute going over, you go here when this guy goes here. You don't move till he goes here. You guys have to move at the same time, but he goes first and you go second. You guys don't go till here. If he gets to 5, you got to go at 4 seconds to be an outlet. So, and even after that, sometimes you don't know. So that would be one of my examples, but there's plenty. There's so many. Jesus.
Especially like watching, Anna try and run a lot of sets, and that's good. They need to learn how to run plays. But, every now and then, I feel like for sure as a coach that every now and then you just need to put them in a motion, pass, cut, let them make a couple plays, make some passes,
let them get comfortable.
Free flow.
Let them get comfortable.
They need to feel that they're part of the game, especially if the other team's going to play man. They sit in a zone, then you got to do what you got to do, and nobody likes going against the zone. Yeah. But if they're in man, let them play a little bit, and it'll help them grow a lot more as players. But watching them, try and run these different sets and make these different cuts, screens, passes, like, unless you have the type of players who can do that and have been doing that, trying to start that, it's always rough to start. Yeah. And so here in a couple years, I'm sure they'll have all that down. They'll be smooth
and they'll remember it.
Hard to guard.
They'll remember it because the kids like that you coached last year that would try to run Bulldog last year that couldn't, we remember they couldn't do to save their life. Like as soon as I started putting it in with Scooter the other day, they remembered it really quick. So it's like you're not doing them a disservice at all by trying to get them to run it. And it's not just Anna. We did it last year. We still do it sometimes where we try to run our set play too much, and now our kids get confused and they can't get in the flow of the offense. But, you're at some point they need. It's kind of like whenever you say get to the free throw line, like you need to see the ball go in. It's the same thing for every player. Each player needs to touch the ball, and so when they touch the ball, they're just thinking about what set they need to do. it's hard for them to get in a rhythm. And it is different if they really understand the game. But a lot of times, like especially the kids from Anna, Jonesboro, and Lick Creek, we don't have the Union County, youth basketball league. And a lot of those kids don't play AAU. So their first time ever running anything or doing a down screen or a back screen is their 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade year, And, you should say that they could figure it out. But there's so many things going through kids' heads today. And, we get them at the end of the day after they've been at school for 8 hours. So the intent's there, and it does work when you get that group. It's like West Frankfort. West Frankfort knows how to do that stuff, and they scored 99 tonight. So
that's because the last
those
3-4
years for years
have been doing a
together.
College style offense,
Yes.
then a high school style offense, and now it makes a junior high style offense look professional almost because they have been doing it for so long. Same thing with Vienna, kind of just like they're not even as good this year, but because they do the same things hard in the same way, like they've built those same habits to do everything the right way and put the certain people in those certain spots.
And Anna's our example because we played them tonight. You could use any team, but like tonight they ran a couple of different sets that I don't know who listens to this podcast, so I'm not going to give out information, but they ran a couple of different sets, baseline, out of bounds, and half court that I liked. And they had like options open. And I think that if their kids had ran those exact sets from the time they were in 5th or 6th grade on, they would have caught that ball and whipped it into the post, or caught that ball and hit the high low, or, the guy catching it at the high post would have been able to make that read really quick. But it is a matter of like, you got to pick your poison. Do you want to just nail that in the entire game and let them figure it out? Because they will by the end of the year. Or do you want to let them kind of flow and run some 40 so that you can win the game and keep their confidence up? And we're at a point in the season where that's what we got to do. They can do what they want to do, obviously, but I feel like, they'll figure it out. Like, if they go 40, great. Their kids will learn how to make decisions. But if they stay in their sets, those kids will learn how to run those sets. By the end of the year, they'll be running them fine, too. So it's not to knock on them, but I think that is one of the biggest examples that high school coaches don't get about junior high kids. Like with a high school coach, you can take a full minute timeout, and Coach Chan will talk the entire timeout, and then in the last 10 seconds he'll be like, okay, let's run this, and he'll like put everybody in their spots, and he'll just be like, here, good, and everybody knows, and we go run it. You can't do that with junior high kids. You just can't. So
no, that's like at practice the other day. We were going, over different things. The last hour of practice, we were kind of focusing on varsity and what they need to be in. So I had the JV guys run one of our baseline out of bounds plays. We only have 2 put in right now, and they didn't run them right. So I stopped and I started yelling at them. I was like, we have 2 out of bounds plays, and we cannot run them right.
That we've ran since before Ben started coaching. We used to have like 6 baseline out of bounds plays. Ever since, the last year that I was there and Ben started coaching, there's been 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't run those 2?
So we still can't get set up and run our 2 out of bounds plays. And after that, they, hop right into it. So, like, then we explained to them, it's like, guys, when you get to high school, there's 20 sets and 10 out of bounds plays and, 3 sidelines plays and
4 defenses.
4 defenses, a couple press breaks.
We do stuff on free throws,
It's like there's all this extra stuff you guys are going to have to start to learn. And so you got to get to your spot first. If you don't know where you're supposed to be, look, talk, communicate with one another.
Figure it out. Junior high kids don't always figure it out on the fly. The best ones do, and the teams that have played for a while do, but, you just don't see that a lot. And so I think that's a good example for high school coaches. Junior high coaches, Jesus. I think that junior high coaches, and I'm not, obviously putting them on the same level as some parents, but I think the junior high coaches and parents don't understand how much goes into coaching a high school basketball team. It is, if it's 1A and you don't really care to be good, or even if it's 2A or 3A and you don't really care to be good, but you're just there, like, you can get by and you can not be very good and you can just get through the season. But if you want any chance to be good, especially, being a 2A team in the river to river, but any high school team, there's so much that goes into it. And so there is a lot of plays. There is a lot of sets. There is a lot of extra stuff that habits you got to build, things you got to be on top of, offensive, defensive rebounding, and free throws. And I think that if you've been coaching junior high for a while and you only focus on junior high, you don't watch I know I'm missing the mic here. You don't watch a lot of, college or high school sports. You don't really realize how much goes into it. If you're a parent or a casual, just watching the game and enjoying it, there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't realize how much goes into even a junior high, let alone a high school season, like all of the little intricate things that are going on throughout the game that you don't even notice. And so that'd be a good example for junior high coaches watching a high school game. Some of them get it, but a lot of them don't. So it's a massive jump, especially in basketball. Sometimes kids can go from playing junior high soccer and just show out at the varsity soccer level, or you can be a great golfer in junior high golf, but it doesn't always work out in basketball or football. So basketball, in our case, for sure, you gotta be able to do a lot of things and be strong and skilled and physical and have the right mindset for sure and the right habits built.
What are some lost basketball skills?
My favorite one to talk about is the post-injury pass. I mean, Jesus. Everybody shoots threes, and I love it. I love it, and I love listening to coaches complain about it. Not even in a bad way, just because, I love shooting threes, and I know what the three can do for a good three-point shooting team. But, entering the ball into the post, being able to cut off the post, two-man game, three-man game with the high-low, like really any of that stuff and the timing it takes to throw the pass and catch it and the positioning, like that stuff is lost for the most part. You'll get some teams that are all guards, that play 5 out, and those guards pop in and out and they can all do it, but having a team, especially in junior high, it's a lost art to be able to fake that pass up and throw it around, or fake down, throw it up, throw it between the legs even. There's a ton of them. What do you think? What's another one?
Mine was going to be, scoring in the post, like true on post-up scoring. Because there's a lot of kids who can, do the Nova footwork.
Or muscle their way up.
Jump up, get the shoulder into them and go finish. And, everything now is a foul if you're not.
But Nova footwork wasn't a thing when we were in school, really.
No. And so, back in the day, it was, throw it into the post guy, maybe cut off of him, but besides that, you're looking to get a post catch like every other possession and go score. There was always a 6'5" plus kid standing on the block in the way. And not that was better basketball, but I see all these 6'5" kids just standing on the 3-point line, never trying to get a catch on the block. So that's why I like some of the new offenses AJ's running, trying to get people in different spots, get them a catch on the outside, get them a catch on the inside. And so, I like that there's some teams mix it up and do different things, and some teams just do nothing but space it out or do nothing but run sets that don't, really give anybody a chance to, not just ISO, but get a catch on the post with enough space to make, 2 dribbles and 3 quick little shakes and a move and go score. And I just don't see very many kids do that very much anymore.
No, for sure. I think that it's good to have an offense, and we talked about that earlier, 40, where kids can make those decisions. So in junior high, obviously, like we said, it's harder for them to be able to do sets, but at the high school level, if you've got a ton of kids that can make those decisions, it's nice to be able to run those multiple sets and get them different touches, get people different looks. KG's one of the best shooters in Southern Illinois, and we've been throwing him in the post, and I'm not afraid to tell people that, because it's go ahead, you want to guard him in the post, he's going to shoot a 3, and it's a layup. So things like that some coaches wouldn't think about. A junior high coach or a casual fan would see that. And, I know I'm going back to what we talked about a second ago, but, they see that and they think, why are you doing that? Well, he is 6'6", and it's a lost basketball skill for a guy to score around the post. So, we're going to throw him in the post. He's got great touch. He finishes around the rim well, and we've been doing that. So, I think anticipation. Obviously, good basketball players do it well. And I don't mean anticipation as in I'm guarding you and, I'm going to tip the pass. But I mean anticipation as in what's a good example?
Ball's going out of bounds and there's a guy standing in front of me. Why would I not get in between if my teammate's throwing the ball back in?
Yeah, throwing it off of somebody, off their back on a baseline out of bounds thing. Like you're looking the other way, I throw it off your back, catch it, finish it. Just thinking ahead and doing stuff that probably seems illegal or isn't right, but as long as it doesn't break the rules. You can kind of stretch the rules with things like that sometimes. So
Mine is using your left hand. Like
your offhand, like
your offhand, like there's so many kids I watch, even from junior high especially, but even at the high school level, especially so many of kids I've coached that still cannot use their
turn
their
to the
weak
right
hand,
shoulder, but use their right hand still.
trying to finish and having to get to that right hand scoop or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, buddy, you got two hands for a reason. You got to. I feel like an old guy. I remember my dad saying all these same things.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Use your left hand.
No, I was the same way too.
Then,
I think that the lost basketball skills and ball knowledge, like they go together. You know,
yeah.
paying attention to the clock's a lost basketball skill. It's also a ball knowledge thing. You know, I think whenever I wrote ball knowledge down, I was actually talking more like lost NBA players. You know, that we could like bring up and talk about. But I mean, this can just go into lost basketball skills. But paying attention to the clock. 2-for-1 situations, which we don't get to do a lot of because we don't have the shot clock. But that'll change next year. By the way, if you're going to watch the Nashville game, the JV is going to use a shot clock this Friday. So that'll be interesting. They're going to get to toy around with it and play with it. And obviously, that'll be the kids that'll use it next year. So, but yeah, 2-for-1 situations. Like he said, throwing the ball to your teammate when you're diving out of bounds. I don't know.
Yeah, that was good. My next one is going to be, being able to catch and shoot quick. Like, I feel like every time I watch any of our guys catch and shoot, they are leaning backwards, leaning forwards, don't get their hands around it, don't get their shot set up quick enough. Like, they're getting blocked because they have to step in a certain way. Just like, where's the art of just catching that thing and letting it fly? Like, catch I keep I. 1-2 shot. Like, so many of our kids have to do some weird little step or some weird little hitch. Even at the high school,
it's kind of like when you watch baseball and kids tap their glove. Like, there's always some like weird little thing that kids do. Like, and it's almost like if they don't do that, they can't get settled. And I know they're young. They're not reaching their full strength. But even some high school kids do it. Like, bro, get in the gym. Like you said, figure out left, right, left, both feet. Stopping on a dime. Stepping to the right, stepping to the left. Like, no, we're not telling you to shoot a step back three, but we are saying, like, if you can stop on a dime and just kind of push out to the left off that right foot, like, yeah, that's going to help you get space, and that's not a bad shot from 15 feet away, if you can hit it. I know Jude Harmon can hit it from Massac. He hits a lot of them. He scores a lot. So.
It was like watching Graydon all tournament. 75% of his shots he's shooting, he's off balance or rushing or turn to the side. And then the last game, he gets a couple shots that are deep, but he gets his feet set. He jumps forward, holds his hand high. Like, he does all the stuff he's been working on.
I thought about that,
and
too.
it showed, and it went in. It's like, yes. Like, every time he gets set up, catches and shoots, he doesn't think about it. He's not leaning. He's not rushing. Like, it's
not
cash. It's going to be a good shot.
Yeah, and it was.
And he hit a couple of them that game, which really helped. And so it really, builds that confidence back up. So
I don't really, like I've said in the past 4 topics, there's stuff we're missing for sure. We're very ill prepared, but I think that's a good spot to kind of move into, unless you have anything else that you want to.
Who's your NBA ball knowledge guy of the day?
Jesus, I forgot, so I wasn't even Emeka Okafor.
Why Emeka Okafor?
It's just who came to mind.
Can you tell me anything about Emeka Okafor?
Nope. Did he play for the 76ers or the Magic? Or neither? You don't even know, so.
76ers, I'm pretty sure. He went to UConn, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I know Jaleel Okafor. No, that was just the first person that actually came to my mind whenever you asked me just now. So,
mine, Jeremy Lamb.
Used to use him in 2K a lot.
2K, dog.
Yep.
Dog. I'd have him, and somebody else come off the bench and just run. Oh, and Reggie Jackson, bro.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I'd play with the Thunder. You'd see Katie and Russ, and then I'd sub them out, bring those two on with Percy Jones and different guys like that, just be running around with a bunch of crazy athletes, and Jeremy Lamb doesn't miss.
Dude, the first 2K I ever started like really falling in love with was 2K12, and it was because they had the All-Star games you could play, and I would use Dirk, and Dirk made everything, so he was like the first player I ever used. But yeah, dude, Jeremy Lamb was a 2K god. Just run it with him.
What was peak 2K? I think it was 13.
I can't answer what was the best 2K because my preferences are going to be different because I never played online. But I feel like I really loved 2K like 12. I don't know if it was 12 or 13, but one of those two. I had a big guy that could shoot, 7-footer that could shoot it from deep. And like if he was like on the wing or the slot area, he would bank a 3 in. Like even from 35 feet out. And so I liked that 2K a lot, but I was a young kid then. So I feel like a lot of people like 17, a lot of people like, is it 20 maybe?
Yeah, it was either 19 or 20.
Yeah. I don't know. My preferences are different than everybody else's, so.
Yeah, no, I think 13 was definitely peak.
Yeah.
Like 12, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, 13.
11 was the first one I played. I got the Michael Jordan edition.
So 2K10 was the one with Kobe on it, I'm pretty sure. It was like the gold one. Then 11 was Michael Jordan. 12 was Michael Jordan. And 13 was like the
Blake
three-person one.
Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, and
Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose.
that was it, yeah.
I think so. And so
Yeah,
that
Steph
one was
wasn't till later.
that was like, obviously I'm in high school at that point, so nostalgia.
I was a junior high kid.
But that was definitely peak. Who do you want to interview? Who do you want on our podcast next? Who do we need to get?
I said it earlier, Chris Dexter, and there's a ton of people I want to interview, and I more so just dropped this comment or this topic just because if you're listening to this and you've listened to these and you've made it even this far into this one and you want to be part of one of these, let us know. Like I'm not saying we'll get you on next week, but I feel like we're willing to get a lot of different people on and talk, just because it's about basketball and stuff doesn't mean we're not willing to branch off and talk about really anything. We've wanted to get my little brother on here for a while, and it's kind of like, what are we going to talk about? Sports? You didn't go play college sports. Like we could talk about high school sports, but so it doesn't really matter. We don't really, care. If we need to branch off and talk about something else, we can, but I definitely want to talk with Chris Dexter for sure, pick his brain, see, my biggest question with him, and this is not like me, my honest, I wonder where the passion comes from. Like, dude, because you work so hard and you do so much for so many people for nothing. And I'm not like judging, obviously, because I am kind of in the same boat with all the basketball stuff that I do, but basketball is my passion and helping people is my passion. So I know why I do it. I'm just curious, like, I want to ask him and talk to him and pick his brain. Like, what was the idea? What made you start it? Who was your inspiration? What makes you want to keep doing it now? Have you ever thought about quitting? Like, what are you going to do if you quit? Like, really, really get into picking his brain, but also Coach Mike, any of the Coach Chamnesses or both Coach Chamnesses. We want to get our brothers on here and do a brother one during Mother's Day and Father's Day. I'd love to do a Mother's Day and a Father's Day podcast.
Good old Jake Parr. Talked to him the other day.
Yeah.
I feel like we could talk to him for 3 hours about high school, pro sports, college sports. Like, I'm sure I want to get all of his hot takes.
He'll drop knowledge, that you've never heard of before.
I miss Jake Parr hot takes.
He's a big Alpi Sangoon and all those Rockets guys fan, so he's digging this season.
Whenever he came in here, he said, "What do you think about them Rockets?"
I'm sure he did, Jake.
I'm
sure you did, Jake.
And I was like, "We're on the same team now, buddy. Let's go."
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm a Wemby fan. I like the Spurs. The Spurs.
I can't like the Spurs and the Rockets. Yes, I can. I like Texas. I'm from Texas.
Big X, dude, Dallas.
Born in Fort Worth, Texas, baby. Where we
That's
at?
Funny.
No,
for sure, Jake. Though, any college players really that we've played with or
Franklin
that
brothers
I've
would be
trained or
fun.
that even that play now that we don't really know. Like Owen Treat, you want to get on here? Let's do it. Like, I've never talked to Isaac Billington, but he's just another one that comes to my head because I'm pretty sure he plays with Owen now. You want to get on here? Come on. Mitchell Edwards, come on. I trained Chase. Chase, you want to come on here? Like, let's do it. Caden from Harrisburg last year, let's do it. College athletes you played against, let's do it. There's a couple guys that I played against, like Joe Brumlevy went to SIU. He wants to get on here, let's do it. Zach can get on here. He's high jumping at SIU right now. That would be, I hope Zach didn't hear this, but that'd be a crazy podcast because that dude would just talk and talk and talk. But, yeah, dude. I mean, really anyone at this point, but for sure Chris Dexter's at the top of my hit list. I wanna interview Chris for sure.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Cats or dogs?
This is kind of just a throwing question. You know me. I mean, you know me.
You know me too. So, no, my poor little puppy's been sick, but she's been fighting. She's feeling a lot better now. So,
that's good. I'm a cat person. I wasn't always that way for sure. I've had a ton of cats, a ton of dogs, but I probably turned into a cat person my senior year, and once I graduated high school, I got Arthur, and there's no turning back now. I'll probably be a cat person for the rest of my life. So I still love dogs. Dylan's got a dog named Oakley, and she's cool.
I don't hate cats. I actually really miss being around cats, but I'm allergic now, and my eye swells up.
I know.
My throat will swell up, so it's no fun. So I stick to dogs. I got 2 little blue healers who are my babies. They cost way too much money when they're sick, but I want them to be healthy and, survive and make it through. And, there's always that special line with a pet, you got to kind of walk on when it comes to spending money on medicine and treatment and stuff like that. But to me, they're family and, they are still an animal, but I want to do what I can. I don't want to just give up on them. And so I'm definitely a dog guy. I've had a lot of different dogs, but I don't hate cats. I actually really want a snake next, but that's besides the point.
If you've made it this far into the podcast, we want to know, are you cat or dog? That's kind of
if you've made it this far, drop cat or dog so we know you're a real one.
That and pineapple on pizza or no. Ben's a everything on pizza guy. That dude will eat. Jesus.
I'm down.
But
I'm down to try it at least once. Well,
I like pineapple on pizza,
everything.
but not like everything. I just pineapple or pineapple and ham or pepperoni maybe.
I'm a lot less picky than I used to be.
Yeah.
You want to do this? Do you want to save this for another one? Let's save it for another one. We're going to talk about Blake's California experience because we haven't really gotten into it, but I'd rather do it on a day where I
can go into detail and I'm not tired.
And he's not tired and he can
I can sum it up. I can sum it up. I went to California and I played some basketball with some really nice guys, kind of formed a family across the country, and hopefully that'll open up some opportunities for, me in the future, I think. I'll go into detail in the future, but yeah, it was fun. Met a lot of really fun people. Went with my buddy Deshaun and got to do a bunch of cool things and just kind of go on a little vacation. So it's all centered around playing basketball and kind of the same thing we're doing right now. We're posting, make a podcast and post them to social media. Well, I've been posting stuff to social media for years now, and I can't tell you what my for sure vision was whenever I first started, but I know that I've had hundreds of visions since doing it, and I attribute God just giving me. There was something in my heart always that told me to just post stuff, and posting stuff is what gave me that opportunity. So we'll get into that one time, probably next time, and I'll talk all about it and get into it. But I'm super excited, and if I have any advice, it's post your content, post your podcast, post your YouTube videos. Go, if you're gonna be a streamer, go stream. Whatever it is you're gonna do, give your all into it. Kind of like what we're doing right now. It's 11:02 on a Monday night, and I got to be up in 5 hours. So
we're gonna wrap up with a Bible verse, a few verses. It was a scripture I heard, scrolling through on YouTube or on TikTok or on Instagram or something like that. But
there's no way, dude. There's no way.
But
this is crazy.
It's something that is really simple and just kind of talks about.
I was talking about this to someone else the other day, and I can't pinpoint exactly who it was, but I dropped this verse within this week. I've dropped this verse because I like this verse.
I don't remember who said it, but there was somebody talking in an interview, and they just started basically repeating this verse, and I had heard it before, but like the way they said it was just like so elegant and so calm and so like just like you're speaking normal. And so that's the beauty of this. Is the book of James. This is James 1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes scattered among the nations, greetings. Trials and temptations. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whether you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position, but the rich should take pride in their humiliation, since they will pass away like a wildflower. For the sun rises with scorching heat and withers the plant. Its blossom falls, and its beauty is destroyed. In the same way, the rich will fade away, even while they go about their business. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. My favorite thing about that verse is it just keeps talking about the people who believe and don't have doubt. There's always times where you're going to question, but if you just keep focusing on what you believe in and what you know is going to happen for you, like keep fighting for it, keep working for it. And if that door gets shut, turn around, look at the other door and say, oh, I need to go this way. Well, I'm going to go this way as hard as I can. If you make a mistake, fix it, move on, and keep going the other way as hard as you can. God is there with you. He is there to bring joy. He is there for you when you face trials. He is there. He is putting those there for a reason, for you to grow, for you to remember who you're supposed to be and who you're supposed to follow. So this is how we're going to wrap up today, is a simple little reminder of the people who believe and the people who don't doubt and keep going, which is exactly what our podcast is about. Believe, ball, become. It's exactly what this is talking about. Believe, go through the trials, and then become who you're supposed to be. And if you do it with God, it'll make life maybe not easier, but it'll make your life a lot more complete, and you'll be able to understand life a lot more with him. Anything else you want to add?
Consider it joy.
Consider it joy, my brothers. Consider it joy. Those who face trials and tribulations, for God is with you, no matter what. Thank you for listening to Believe, Ball, Become. I don't even know what episode we're on anymore.
6 or 7.
6-7, baby. 6-7. Thank you for listening.
I'm just so happy I'm saved. God, send me out the rain. Now I got peace and now I got brains. Facts.